Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. And one that's been in the making here for a little bit. Excited about that. So let's do the thing. Let's do the normal thing we do. Introduce yourself, who you are, a little bit about your company, what you guys do. How about that? Wherever you want to start.
Awesome. Yes, sir. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. We appreciate it. Shannon has been a great friend of ours, and we are really looking forward to an awesome conversation. So my name's Isaiah Adams. We are a family business, and so I guess you could call me co-owner. We do wear a lot of hats inside the business. The only thing I don't do is build. We do have some wonderful Amish guys that are working for us that do that side of things. But we are here to serve our wonderful community and surrounding communities with the best service, the best portable buildings, unique products, and solving their storage, their portable outdoor structure needs.
Excellent. And these nice, I don't know if you guys get a picture of this, these nice little hats. And I finally got my hands on one.
Yes, sir.
I'm single-handedly making an effort to be the largest hat collector in the shed industry. I don't know if I told you guys, I've already nailed down, I have the second largest air guitar collection in the world. You guys might not know that about me.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I like to think so. But I'm going for the actual largest hat collection.
Yeah. I like it.
It's been fun. So thank you for the hat. And then I guess you got your partner in crime here.
Yes. Introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Isaac Adams, his brother. We pretty much, like he said, do wear a lot of hats in the company. We manage the shop, we deliver, sell. Of course, we have a great team to help us with some with deliveries, some with sales. Of course, we don't build either. But anybody can go anywhere to buy a shed, but what we've tried to do, and so far in this company, is stand out. It's just to be different than all these other shed companies in our area. Just to have, like he said, unique styles, unique designs, and above all, service. So
yeah, no, I love it. I think it's awesome, and you do stand out. Your products do, and I noticed it from even the sign from the road just looks really nice.
Thank you.
I love what you guys have done already and started, so it's good. And even getting to sit and talk with even your younger brother, who's now, when you say family business, you mean it, because, dad's
Absolutely.
involved, like you guys are involved, your younger brother's involved now. You guys were, you're hustling, you're selling, you're overseeing the builders. You guys was out on a delivery today. You're in the shed industry.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
We love it.
Day-to-day operations is definitely the case.
So how did you guys fall into it? It's always one of my favorite questions to ask, is because, some people are generational, but who is sitting in school or talking their guidance counselor and saying, well, what I'd really like to do is sell sheds or build sheds or haul sheds. You fall into it somehow, but what's you guys' story?
Good question. Great question. So my father was in insurance he was a broker for many, many years, and he was gone fourth quarter of the year, every single year. And that was up until I was either a junior or senior in high school. So he got sick of traveling, and he had an opportunity with a company to come on board. And so it's kind of went from there. So we've been able to partner with the company prior to Backyard and Beyond, and learned a lot, made a lot of great connections, learned a lot about the industry, about service. So I came straight out of high school. I went into college, didn't really enjoy college. I got my associates and was like, let's sew sheds. And I've been doing that ever since.
Sounds a lot like my son. He's in that moment right now. He's finishing up his associate's degree this quarter, and then he's like, I don't think, he went to state school and was like, this isn't me. This is not what I want to do. This is a little mainstream, for me. And he came back and said, I'm going to get my associates, man, and then I want to focus on life. You know, and I told him, I said, I encourage you to do whatever you do as long as you do it with all of your energy and zeal and give it your best, you know, like doesn't matter what it is. So same story for you pretty much, Isaac, right? Like followed suit.
Yeah, pretty much follow suit. I was pretty good at school. I was, you know, some people's good at school, some people's good at life, but I hated every minute at school.
Oh,
so
man.
Even
my
when
guy. Yes, sir.
even when I was, I guess it started probably when I was a junior, is when I started hauling of the evening times. And then my senior year, my principal, I had very little work to do. I always tried to stay ahead. And, you know, he was selling, Dad was involved, and I was right there. Because when I got home from school, that's all I heard for this evening was sheds.
Oh, yeah.
So my senior year of high school, my principal let me take off 2 or 3 days out of the week and haul. So a lot of times I'd be up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and go pick up buildings, take them to school, and then do some schoolwork and leave from school and go straight there. So it's kind of started since I was a junior, or a senior, I mean. And then, of course, when I got out of high school is when I started selling some, and then it's just went from there, really.
I struggled with school because of the standardized education, the rules, the lack of freedom, because, you know, like I find it interesting, you know, like how similar school and prison look and operate.
Yes, sir.
Like how unusual is that? Matter of fact, there's a place up in near East St. Louis. I used to go for the National Guard to the Armory, and I think they turned an old school into a jail. And I was like, yeah, well, that wasn't very hard, was it? You know, it's just
classroom.
Yeah, throw some barbed wire around it. Next thing you know, it's like, yeah, it kind of fits. But that's
sadly true.
Well, you know, entrepreneurial spirits, you know, don't like to really have that thumb on their neck. You know what I mean? Like you like freedom, appreciate freedom. Some people appreciate, you know, I don't know, like safety, security, things like that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just really a difference in maybe the way we're made. It took me a while to appreciate education, Isaac. It took me a while to learn to appreciate it. But, you know, life gives you an education as well, too. And I love listening to these videos. I don't know if you guys know, I'm fairly conservative, so I'm going to show my cards here. But
absolutely.
I like watching videos of like Charlie Kirk.
Okay.
Yes,
Also speakers.
Yeah. So like I love, like I was watching one last night, and the person was talking about finance, or I don't remember what they were talking about. And you could tell the guy really knew his stuff. And he was like, but you probably wouldn't understand that, talking to Charlie, because he was like, because, you know, you never went to college. And Charlie was like, oh, you're right. No, I mean, no, that's true. And everybody was like laughing. He's like, I probably didn't go to college. He's like, but I actually remember the book you're talking about. And you went to college and you don't. So you paid for it and I didn't. and the guy was like, well, he was trying to be smart. He was like, actually, I went on a scholarship. He said, oh, so you took advantage of some other taxpayer paying for you. I mean, he was just owning the guy. You know what I mean? With like his natural life knowledge and entrepreneurial.
Yes.
So I enjoy that. And I'm not knocking school. Self-education.
Yes.
I know that there's a place for school, but I struggle with probably like the standardized education in college. So like for me, I couldn't wait to get to work, dude.
That's me.
I just wanted to go to work.
Yes.
I wanted to learn more about life.
Yep.
And I wasn't so caught up in high school. I was kind of like, I was ready to go.
Are you ready to elevate your shed business to new heights? Your pathway to success just got a whole lot smoother with ShedSuite's innovative marketing platform. At ShedSuite, we like to think we understand the shed industry at least a little bit. And over the last 7 years, we've been building awesome software for shed businesses. We focus first on building easy-to-use software to help you create and track orders, like the point of sale and after the sale order fulfillment. And now we're excited to announce our full-feature CRM, all things pre-sale, you know, like prospecting and follow-up, all to empower your shed company to market better and sell more efficiently. Our platform empowers you with a marketing toolkit designed to amplify your online presence, engage your audience, and drive sales like never before. Enjoy the ease of conversion tracking, email marketing, centralized lead communication, and so much more. Oh, and guess what? It even comes with an iPhone and an Android app. With ShedSuite's marketing platform, crafting and deploying effective marketing campaigns is a breeze. The advanced reporting functionality allows your team to analyze real-time conversion data so you can make informed decisions and watch your business flourish. There's no better time than now to join the community of shed business owners who are scaling up with ShedSuite. It's time to turn your marketing efforts into real trackable results. Visit shedsuite.com/marketing to get pricing, explore the features, and book a demo. ShedSuite is committed to building top quality software to empower your shed business to thrive.
My dad had a lawn mowing business on the side, and I was 15 years old, and as a 86 Toyota 5-speed, I knew how to drive it, and I knew how to back that trailer, and I'd back the mower up, and I'd mow the grass, and other 15-year-olds were out having fun, and I missed that, but I learned how to work.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And I enjoyed it, a lot of it.
That was our first little side business when I turned 16, I got my license.
Yeah.
Dad bought a mower, and I was like, hey, Dad, can I use your mower to go mow people? He's like, sure, just pay the gas.
Yeah.
And we actually got some landscaping jobs and everything. Well,
Yeah.
we were
Yeah, it
16.
started us out. I mean,
Isaac was younger than me, so
That
Yeah.
started I guess you could consider the grinding phase.
Yeah.
Because
Learning
even
that.
though we still lived at home, Dad bought our meals. I mean,
Yeah.
every bit of that. But it's still, we had our own money then.
Yeah.
it taught us. It taught us a lot.
Yeah.
I like it. Rise and grind.
Yes, sir.
Rise and grind.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's that's probably kind of been chewed over and picked over, that whole grind mentality. We were talking about just even before we got on the air, books we read, things we do,
Yep.
take advice from Grant Cardone, you know what I mean? Like that name showed up because it does a lot of times. And we were talking about literally some of the stuff that we like both love and cherish from some of his teachings, but then some of the stuff that we just disagree with.
Yes,
Sure.
At
Yes.
times too, and you got to be big enough to do that. Where do you guys because you're young guys, you're motivated. Where do you guys want to go with it? Where's Backyard gonna end up? Are you guys wanting to do the whole, I don't know, dealer model at some point? Focus on online. Where I don't know. Educate me. Tell me what you guys see as young visionaries when you shake the magic 8-ball.
So, yeah, good question. So, obviously, your vision changes over time as you learn because experience does teach you. So, a vision that I would have in my high school days probably is not the same now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's grown, maybe it's shrunk, depending on what area. And also, you also have to look at your priorities. What are your priorities for that? And how much time are you going to allot for whether it be education and work and family and your spiritual life as well. So all those things you have to take in consideration. We do have a growing company. Backyard and Beyond is one centralized location here in Kentucky as of now. We just opened a shop and a single lot in Alabama. So that is going great. We've actually already got 2 really large sales there in the past 2 days. And
Nice.
It's crazy because lumber got there like
Yesterday.
3 days
Yeah,
ago.
a couple days ago.
A couple days ago like that, and we're already selling. So I don't believe that my goal is to be someone like a big box company like maybe Stormore or Graceland or Old Hickory. And those companies are wonderful. They've got their great visions and their leaders and stuff like that. I don't think Backyard and Beyond has a goal to be that big. I don't have a goal to be nationwide. I don't have a goal to be a large dealer model. And Isaac can put his input in, but as a goal, Backyard and Beyond lacks the family business feel, where it's based on service. There's not a corporate mentality, and there are places for that. It's completely okay. But we want the hometown mentality with our dealers, with our shops. Even if we grow to, say, 3 or 4 stores in the Kentucky region, we don't want that to get beyond the home feel, supporting the community, being inside that community, and we definitely want our quality and our service to stay the same regardless. And there are systems and processes that will go with that, obviously, like customer service and delivery schedules and sales tactics and those different things. So I believe our vision is to get comfortable, satisfactory with a few stores. And then the only actually reason we're in Alabama is because some of our best friends has an opportunity down there. We wanted to help them. They wanted to help us. It was a win-win.
Yeah.
So it's very family-oriented and family-based to grow.
Yeah, no, I like it. I don't know if I've mentioned it before. I know I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but I still, I know a lot of people don't watch movies or whatever. And, from what I can remember, it was a fairly clean movie. I can't recall anything just right off the top of my head that was like overly, but then again, I have a terrible memory. But the movie Founder with Michael Keaton, if you ever get a chance to watch it, it talks about the McDonald's story. And now I don't know, guys, how accurate the movie is in comparison to real life, based off real life events or that kind of thing.
Right.
But I really, it opened my eyes up to a lot of business because Michael Keaton was this sales guy. He was Ray Kroc, the owner of McDonald's, called himself the founder of McDonald's. I always find that to be interesting. You know what I mean? Like when you call yourself the owner, but then wanted really the credit for founding, because it says something about your vision, but were you really the founder? And that's kind of what the movie's titled, Founder.
Okay.
So, Ray Kroc is delivering mixing shake mixers throughout the Midwest. And it starts the movie's in Belleville, Illinois, outside of St. Louis. He's trying to sell these things. He's having a hard time, but he's going back and he's listening to this. Maybe, I don't know, remember when this would have been, I don't know, 50s? I don't know. There was like, what was his name? Nightingale was like one of the original, what you call motivational speakers. I can't even think of his full name right now, but like these were like guys that were like, he'd put on a record and he'd be on the road and he would listen to this, like the power of positive thinking, things like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like old school, you know what I mean? Type of what I would call today to be motivational speaking, like sales training, things that self-help.
Yes,
you
sir.
know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And he would do this, and you could tell he put all those years in of like grinding it out and trying to do that. And he gets a call from, the McDonald's brothers, and they said, come out here to California. We want 6, or they didn't say come out here. They said, we want 6 of your machines. And he's like, there's got to be a mistake. And they actually wanted 6. So he drives out to, I don't know, LA or out there in California where they were. And they had this store. And he saw a vision for it right away on how to franchise it. Mm-hmm. At the end of the movie, he ends up, there's like this big handshake deal and there's tons of money lost, especially when you figure the revenue that McDonald's has brought in over time.
Right.
And he says at the end of it, he said, you know how I knew it would work? Because he basically pushed them out. He said, the name, McDonald's, it's America. It sounds American. It sounds like everything anybody wants. McDonald's, the Golden Arches. Kroc doesn't sound good. His name is Ray Kroc. And he's like, Kroc doesn't sound good. We can't open up a Croc's.
Right.
Right. I don't know. I find this conversation particularly interesting because you got KFC down here in Corbin, right? You got like the original KFC.
I know, right? It's right here. Yeah. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's here at Identigrow, we have been providing custom nameplates for the shed and furniture industry for over 20 years. We are so pleased to know that shed manufacturers see the value in expressing their shed brand to potential customers using an Identigrow nameplate. When you add an attractive decal to your product, you will more than pay for the cost with increased sales. Clients will not only be able to identify the shed brand, but it will help to brand and advertise to potential customers who can easily see the nameplate, and in many cases, find a phone number or website to shop for themselves. At Identigrow, we are happy to continue to serve and invite you to visit our website at identigrow.com or give us a call at 540-283-9193. You can even fax us at 540-283-9194 or visit our website by clicking on the Shed Geek newsletter and then simply fill out some basic information for a free catalog or free samples. Thank you, Shed Industry, for allowing us to serve you in identifying your sheds. Identigrow. Identify your products. Grow your business. It's interesting, to me, whenever you guys talk about like the big store and the little store and the mom and pop, and there's so many companies like what you guys are talking about that are the backbone of even this industry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that the future? Is acquisitions the future, or bigger stores, bigger companies the future? What do you guys see?
So our biggest thing, what we say is we want to run our company. We don't want our company to run us. So you could piggyback on a lot of that. We don't want to get so big. Obviously, like he said, we want to expand a little bit, different things like that. But we don't want to get so big to where that's all we do. It's all we think about. Because like he said, it's very family based and family oriented. So as long as we can, we're good with growth. We love growth, but as long as we can maintain it and we can manage it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. We don't want to get too big to where we can't manage it, because then you end up with mad customers, you end up with customer service that lacks. You end up with all these different problems that happen at one time because you can't manage your growth.
Yeah, manageable growth is a huge conversation.
Yes.
And there are so many companies that do an amazing job. My brother-in-law is a sales rep for Stormore, and like their processes they have, and I know a little bit about them, but the processes they have, so they've just perfected delegation. So like you have a leader, and then you just delegate on down the line. That's okay. We don't have a problem with delegation. That's how you grow, because there's only one of me, and I only have so many hours in a week.
That's it.
So if I go get him, and then he helps me, and then I share my vision with him, something that Richard Branson, I'm sure you've read a lot after him. I think we actually spoke the other day.
Yeah.
We spoke the other day on the phone on this. So, he's built all these huge companies, and he's like, you're the visionary. Go get the absolute best people to perform that vision, give them the best tools, and then step out of the way. So I think that's a good model. I definitely think that's a good model. It really just depends on your goal. And I believe Backyard and Beyond's goal is not to be another Old Hickory. It's just to be a family-oriented. It may change over time. We are definitely in the infancy. We are, what is this, September? So we're technically 9-10 months into this company.
Yeah.
So we're definitely in the infancy of it. And so our goals may change. And we definitely want to help our community. We want to help others, family members, friends, etc. So that may change over time. But our goal from Backyard and Beyond is to stay family. As far as the future concerns, to answer that question, it's an awesome question. I don't know. I have seen it work both ways. I've seen some, not to judge hard or anything, but I've seen big companies doing an amazing job, and then I've seen smaller companies doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
The Barnyard in Massachusetts is a staple topic for me. They only have 2 locations that I know of, I believe, because I was able to stop in and actually speak with them. A dream come true for me. Anybody
you follow them close on social media.
Yes. I followed them for years, Shannon.
This is Jason Clotter Farms, or?
No, sir. I don't think they're the same.
Okay.
They're right down the road from Clotter Farms.
Okay, gotcha. Well, whenever I was up in that area, I was going to stop by all of those places, and we ran out of time, and things didn't work. But I can't wait to get back up in that area and see a lot of those guys. So my apologies to the Barnyard. I don't know a lot of the inner workings of like who's who, but I'll figure it out before we go back up.
I don't know their exact names. Like I said, we just follow them on social media really, really heavily. And now they ship their timber frame packages like nationwide.
Okay,
but as far as their sales location with sheds and stuff, they sell and deliver in the Northeast, but they only have 2 locations. So they're a large profiting business, I guess, numbers business. But they don't have all of these stores across the country, like you would say, like Old Hickory or something like that. And they, in my opinion, have perfected like customer service and their products, and they've done a wonderful job. I would like to tailor after them. Backyard and Beyond would love to tailor after them as much as we can.
Yeah,
they've done an excellent job.
Oh, it's awesome, man. What a shout out to them too. Especially I don't know if you guys are like me when you're on vacation or on business or on somewhere and you see like a shed location. I mean, the first thing I did was like asking you guys, because I was like, hey man, it's been a little bit since I've been down to London, and I was like, I noticed this place over here popped up, and this place, you guys probably need another shed lot about like Paducah does, or most places.
They're everywhere.
They seem to be everywhere. Brings in a conversation about saturation that we always like to have, like when's the bubble pop, when does it When does it burst? Does it? Will it ever? You know, we've been talking, a lot of rhetoric here lately has been surrounded with, you know, backyard storage. You know, like you know, creating this mentality in the consumer about backyard storage and not storage unit storage.
Yes, sir.
Right?
There's
Like,
a waiting list for those things.
there is.
So-
yeah. The richest lady in Kentucky. I think I told you this the other day.
You did. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Owns Public Storage.
Yes. Amazing.
You know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
Lives up here in Lexington. I'm trying not
Amazing.
to get on her radar, you know, by any means, but I don't think any of them listen to me. So, you know, but yeah, like this is just stuff I found on Google. Like, I don't know, $45 million or something, or whatever she's worth, or I don't remember what it was, but I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like, so like Americans like their stuff and they like to put it somewhere.
Sure.
And, you know, these storage units have worked perfectly, but we're almost competing with them. That's what always cracks me up whenever we talk about competing with other shed dealers. I'm like, I don't know. Let's go around town here in London. Let's find out how many storage units there are. How many of those could be sliced off
Right.
and delivered to someone's backyard?
Yes, sir.
Where they'd have more security, more privacy.
Yes, sir.
And then they'd own it at some
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely. Either they buy outright or choose the wonderful
Or
rental
choose an
option.
RTO, yeah.
Which,
We have-
shout out to Shed Geek Rentals, by the way.
Hey, my guy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
We'll
sir.
turn it into a soundbite. We'll put it on a loop.
We have several customers that do that. They're like, I'm sick of paying for something that I'll never own.
Yeah.
So why not put something in my backyard that I can actually end up owning, and you know, make my payment, because they're just throwing money at this, you know, month in, month out to never own anything.
This was a
And-
conversation as well, too. Is like, okay, so people that live in apartments, so they don't have land, right? So that may be a solution to them. Or somebody that has a backyard that's not able to get a specific, I don't know. There are different scenarios that I think that would be wonderful for. But the awareness that the storage industry brings and
Yeah.
is continuing to bring to homeowners is amazing, which is why it's awesome to work with realtors. They're the
Yes.
ones selling homes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
get in with
absolutely.
them. Get
You
in with
know,
them.
U-Haul has been, a lot of dealers out there probably, you know, have U-Haul. If you've got like a big lot, a lot of times they're looking for, you know, other,
Right.
you know, ways of bringing in revenue.
Revenue, yes, sir.
This is James Price of Shed Pro on Faith in Business. Faith in business, those terms can invoke deep emotions and passions in people. I've heard some say business and religion shouldn't mix. You can't be truly faithful in business. Religion is for Sunday, Monday is for work, and still others that say we can't do good business without faith. Let's rethink Jesus. The Gospels don't paint a picture of a stained glass church image of Jesus, but instead, he appears as a workplace minister. Oz Hillman illustrated this idea best with the following numbers. Out of the 132 public appearances of Jesus, 122 were in the marketplace. Of 52 parables Jesus told, 45 had a workplace context. Of 40 miracles in the book of Acts, 39 were in the marketplace. The world revolves around the marketplace, and Jesus knew that. People learn values and gain satisfaction in the marketplace. Faith in business meets people in their comfort zone to impart godly values and godly satisfaction. So if we rethink Jesus, faith in business should naturally mix. This is James Price. Thanks for listening.
But like U-Haul is like in the storage space now. You know, they're like buying up, you know,
Yes.
storage units all over the
A lot
place.
of climate control stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, to me, it's so interesting to be like, well, Americans want a place, but what would you rather have if you were a homeowner? Would you like to send your wife down to the storage unit where, you know, there's just rows of garage doors, it's dark, it's not lit well, and you got to go down there and get the toaster out or something? You know what I mean? Like what?
Right.
For what? To go down there and get robbed or get, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to paint the
Absolutely.
worst case scenario, but it you
Well,
know.
in today's America, you never
For
know.
sure. Speaking of which, did they get the guy around here?
They did. Well, they didn't get him. They found him.
Okay.
They found him.
Last night,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay. Yeah,
Sad-
everybody was like, "Are you nervous
sad
about?"
situation.
Yeah, are you nervous about going there? And I was like, "No, I don't think so. I think I'm okay." But
Yeah.
yeah, I heard about that, and I was like, you know, obviously, think about people that are your friends almost immediately and stuff like that. And
We was 5, 6 minutes from the house is where it actually happened. All that stuff happened.
so what we're talking about, guys, is just probably it needs edited out, but just a shooter who was on the freeway who was shooting at cars, and sounds like that ended in a bad situation. But I was just curious because it's like, man, going there next week, right?
Yes.
So,
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And
We have a delivery going a mile, maybe from that exit.
Oh, really?
So it's not delivered yet, so we're good.
Okay,
We'll deliver next week.
Yeah, you're good. Well, I always think about, I don't know what comes to mind for you guys, but I always think I need to check my buildings. You know what I mean? Like somebody's hiding out.
We joke.
Absolutely.
That was kind of a running joke with us. He's hiding out our building.
Well, we have police pressure. We've had not really at this lot, but we've had homeless people or whatever, and they'll patrol and stuff like that. Well, they patrolled really heavily during that time.
Yeah, they did. They
Really
did.
heavy.
I almost feel like there's a conversation there. I bet you a lot of dealers are like, oh, man, we deal with that too. Like, what can be done about that? You know, because you get like, we've dealt with like broken windows.
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
You know, all that stuff.
We've had 2 or 3 even burnt down.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
They get in the winter, they'll build a little fire in there, and it burns completely down. We had a big log cabin in Waynesburg, I think it was.
With a prior company. Yeah, sure
Really?
enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a $25,000 cabin. I mean, burnt to the ground.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know a solution to that. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Man, I don't know either. You know, I really haven't. There's a couple things that, you know, I'm going to have to start putting on my checklist. That being one of them. Burnout. I'd love to have a conversation about burnout. Those who get tied up in sales, hauling, building, and just kind of hit the end of the rope. They're just like, man, I'm just so burnt out on this job, and how do I get reinvigorated? And I'll tell you another one is I've had a couple people recently call and ask me, do you have an architect who actually builds plans for sheds, like, you know, stamped? And I'm like, I don't have a guy that does that. And I feel like in the shed industry, no one's really, that I know of, has occupied that space in large. And if they are, I've missed it. But I'd love to talk to them because it'd be really awesome to like be able to suggest somebody whenever they're asking for those services. They just want engineered drawings to be able to give to their customers.
Right, their clients. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
another awesome question. There's so much room to grow and improve. That's one thing I love about the shed industry is really, I don't know if sky's the limit, the saying is, but and I believe ever since COVID as well, there has been a huge change in trajectory to outdoor living. So it goes beyond just your storage buildings. There's all kinds of portable structures that you can incorporate and build and service your customers with. It's a long list if you really list it out.
Since you guys have been in, what's the most unusual use of a building from a client that might have came in?
Unusual use.
Or just unique, home offices, you know what I mean? Like, what are they? Are you seeing traditional storage? Is that mainly what you see?
We see that a lot. The craziest one recently, I mean, it's not really crazy. I really don't know. So we really don't do chicken coops or anything like that. But I had a person, they bought a very expensive building just to pay cash for it, just turn into a chicken coop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he moved here from Maryland, I believe it was.
Yes.
And he bought a very expensive building just from the way it looked. He was like, we was driving down the road and seen it. We was like, that's the one.
That's the one.
So they stopped in and they bought it. And then when I delivered it is when he told me, he was like, man, I'll be using for a chicken coop. And I was like, you bought this for a chicken coop?
Hey, his wife likes the chickens, so there you go. I think pool houses are something that we see a lot of, that we have pushed. I guess it's all about, there's another conversation about advertising, what you do, how you market. I pushed a lot of pool houses this summer, come out with some unique designs together.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've seen a lot of pool houses being delivered, really nice ones. People were able to customize and use that space. We've seen in the past people use them for photography studios, home offices, especially during COVID. That was big because people were working at home. If they were working at home. So home offices were huge. And of course, there's a whole conversation about the tiny space of occupancy and, tiny homes, what that looks like. There's workshops and garages and there's all kinds of different things that we do see. For the majority, though, probably you're going to see storage.
Mostly.
Yeah, I think that's still probably, the bulk of the industry. Mm-hmm. But it's really nice to see some of these one-offs or things that we haven't done or new designs and, just the creativity at work.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, the other spaces that we just kind of like branch into. I mean, it's common. We've beat the dead horse now to talk about how we're, some of these guys are post-frame builders,
Right.
carports. What other opportunities exist inside of this as you grow? But I mean, just like a nice looking shed is still very desirable.
It is.
Oh, absolutely.
It is. And it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see what you can do. You compare this building to this building and see the difference, like aesthetically looking wise. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. A customer will, me personally, okay, let me speak for myself. I would choose this building over this building because it looks better. If it was in my budget, if it was within the wheelhouse there.
How much does, I love to talk about those things because you guys sell a lot. How much does price make a difference? I mean, what's you guys' philosophy on that? What is your mindset going into it with a consumer who is super price objective?
I've always heard price never sells a building. And
That's
I think
a Grant quote.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard. I agree and I disagree. Like we was talking about before we went on air, you can price yourself out of the market.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to me, which I struggled with fresh out of high school, because I'd never sold anything in my life. I hadn't had a clue what I was doing. That was pretty
Grant would say you're been selling yourself every day.
Yeah.
Who you are. You're selling yourself to your teachers.
It's true. It's very true.
Yes.
Very true. So I was kind of given a login to Shed Suite and was like, here you go. And so my biggest thing was confidence, having confidence in your product enough, building the value over the price. That was my biggest, and honestly, sometimes even today, even though, we're in the building and, or we have builders and, we're involved in the shop and stuff like that, even some of these buildings, I'm like, man, that's expensive. But then I'm like, well, not really, because, they got the same building or very similar for the same price, sometimes even more. So I guess confidence in your product is probably, because Dad always said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right.
You're right. Mm-hmm. You're right.
So that's kind of one thing that's my 2 cents on it. But
that is a wonderful question that would probably have a lot of answers, Shannon. I would say there's a lot of things that go into it. So another Grant quote: when value exceeds price, then a transaction is made. There's 2 reasons that a person will buy. Number 1, they absolutely love it, or number 2, it fulfills a need. So if you can fulfill both of those puncture points, you're going to gain a customer. On the price doesn't always sell the building. I believe that there's different objections that the customer has, and they blame it on price. Well, it's too pricey, or and then also one thing: are you looking for the cash price? Are you looking for the rent to own payment? Are you paying this off? Is it too high because it's $11,000 and you only have $8,000 to spend, or is it because you want to spend $200 a month versus $400 a month? Where's that at? That's the question. And then also, some people blame it on price when they just can't get it delivered fast enough. What's their push point?
Yeah.
Is it the wrong color? Is it the wrong size? Can you not get it built quick enough? Can you not get it delivered quick enough? All of those things value in. So I would say being competitive is a good thing, but being high on price doesn't scare me because that's not typically what sells a structure.
Hey listeners, we all know how important a strong reputation is in today's market. You can't just rely on word of mouth anymore. Did you know that 96% of consumers check out online Google reviews before making a purchase? The companies with the highest ratings, most reviews, and frequent testimonials are the ones winning more business. That's where Liftify comes in. They've developed an innovative solution that automates the process of getting your customers to leave Google reviews. For companies like True Point Backyard Builders and Newhouse Outdoors, they've quadrupled the number of reviews and generated more web traffic, leads, and true net new jobs, all by improving their online reputation. Want to boost your online reputation? Give them a call at 463-217-0032 or visit liftify.com to learn more. Mention the Shed Geek for a special offer. Well, there is a conversation about that. You know, you see it a lot on the haulers page. I think you see it maybe on the haulers page as much as you do the sales page, talking about, terminology.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about this in the beginning, like if you take a customer building and you deliver it and you say, well, we're here with your building, versus we're here with the building you're renting. A lot of it starts even in that conversation that you introduce into your sales pitch or your approach and things like that. You
set yourself up in the sales.
I think it'd be really good because I'm not saying I'm the guy to do that. I just try to listen to other people. We just have a podcast deal where we talk about these things. But I'd really like to know, we're going to the expo this year, going to the NBSRA. Maybe I should be more assertive, asking more questions, more involved. I've been kind of sitting back and a little bit of a student, of different things. But I'd love to kind of know, like, what is the philosophy there? And then, like, how are we going to push that out, that information? Like, starting to, if we don't use words like repo, because people are like, well, I'm always going to use it. That's probably true. It's so indoctrinated in what we say. But is that right? Is it wrong? Should we say volunteer retrieval, involuntary retrieval? Should it not say payments? Like, how much of the law is also part of what we should be practicing and educating our dealers? Because, like, you're not saying it so that to prove you're saying something wrong. You're trying to correct.
It's something that's been a tradition for so long, or maybe it just takes a little bit of education. And I believe if anybody would be that guy, you have such an awesome platform of dealers all over the country, shed companies all over the country. That would be awesome. The education part.
I like to say that. I every now and then I have to remind myself to make a public statement on the podcast to be like, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. So anyone who's like, well, we're not sure if we are, if I haven't sent you an official invite me, call me, contact me. Like sometimes I'm trying to make my rounds, but there's 6, 8, 10, 12,000 people in this industry and everybody's got a story and we're 250 podcasts in. So I'm kind of like, hey,
yes, sir.
Love to talk to you. Competitors. Oh no, not competitors. It's like, other rent-own companies, like, oh no, we can't come on there. It boosts your platform. I'm like, bro, it boosts your platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
No, iron sharpens iron. We should be able to sit down and maturely have conversation that is difficult even, that betters the industry. So, like, hey, if it's not me and you're like, well, get another rent-own company on here and you two get on here, we'll have little, like, bells at the beginning of it to make it sound like they're duking it out and everything. But at the end of it, it's conversation that betters the industry. So whoever that is, like, take the lead on that, because I'm not sure if I'm the guy, but I do like the platform to be able to, like, use it to talk about this stuff.
You have such a passion for it, and I think that's another conversation that's huge. But just a passion. You was talking about burnout earlier. Does passion go beyond burnout?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I don't know, because I'm so passionate about what I do. I enjoy waking up in the morning. I enjoy dealing with that customer. I enjoy making sure that your colors are what you want, in the sales process or whatever. So I'm passionate. I love it. I enjoy it. But if somebody is just there for maybe, I don't know, maybe you're not the owner. Maybe you're just in the sales. Grant talks about the 90-day phenomenon. How do you get beyond that time frame of the burnout?
One of my favorite, like, things that's sort of been revealed, I guess, if you will, to me in the last year. I've even started going to the gym a little bit, right? I mean, it doesn't show. It doesn't show. I don't know how good a job I'm doing. But I'm going. I'm making myself get up and go.
You're showing up.
I'm showing up. And one of the things I'm telling myself is, like, make it part of your life. Don't make it part of a process. Like, oh, I need to get to this weight or lift this amount of weights. It's like, it needs to be incorporated in to try and, like, give yourself a well-rounded life to be healthy or whatever. For me, when you talk about passion and you talk about burnout, I go to these events in the shed industry because I believe in them. I like them. I enjoy seeing other people there, enjoy seeing clients of ours there, all of that. But part of it comes down to purpose. Sure. Like, what do you want to do whenever you wake up in the morning? What do you enjoy doing? And that's why I'm saying I've tried to incorporate that in, because, like, right now, I'm not in a place where I want to go to the gym. I just know it's necessary to go to the gym. I don't know people who want to. They've reached a new level of dedication than I have, but I think it comes down to consistency, and I think it comes down to what's the word I'm looking for? You know, David Goggins.
Oh, yes.
Right? I know a lot of the audience is going to be like, oh, he should have never turned me on to that guy. He's awful. Yes. He has some language and different things.
Yeah, he does.
But my goodness,
Discipline
his
guy.
story and
Yes.
discipline, that's the word. It showed up because when you mentioned David Goggins, the word discipline is going to show up after. And he says, what happens when your motivation runs out? What happens when you go to a motivational event? Nothing against Tony Robbins, but you go. Gary Vee, you go.
Right.
You know, like what happens? You know, I love Les Brown. Les Brown's story is amazing. I can just sit and listen to him over and over and over. But what happens when your motivation runs out? You need to find a new level of motivation. But discipline is the thing that's always there. Discipline shows up when motivation doesn't.
Yes, sir.
So instead, you just get up and you say, well, I got to go to the gym today. Why? You don't feel like it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I feel like doing. You care for your children. Sure. I know your dad cares for you.
Yes, sir.
You know, you care for your children. So you don't say, can't go to work today.
Right.
You know, kids got to eat.
And that also ties into your priorities and your goals too. You know, so like my ideal life, I say my ideal life would be able to travel. We enjoy golf. So we're golf fanatics. So I would love to just travel and golf, and, you know, that would be ideal. So how do I get there? Well, I have to work this much and I have to make this much. You know, there's goals there, but I don't know. You know, what kind of purpose do you have? Are you helping people? Are you, you know, and then also you tie in your spiritual life to that. Yeah. You know, there's large topics there. So, and those goals will adjust, but that's a good conversation that can get very deep.
It is because it's kind of part of your nature and your makeup and all of these things. And I used to say for years, you know, I just haven't separated my work life from my spiritual life to my family life to all of this stuff. And, you know, I still don't know that I have it all figured out. I always marvel at the guys who at least pretend like they've got it figured out, because I'm like, either you're just really selling me or there's a new level or something. But I listen, guys, I don't have it all figured out. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing about me so far that like wants to get up and quit. Now, I've been there. I've been to the bottom of the barrel, the end of my rope. And I like to tell people all the time, and if I'm not careful, that conversation gets to an emotional one real quick, is like when you've had the worst day of your life, when you don't feel like it's you're valuable to be here on earth, every day after that is a good day. Because it's better than the day that you feel the most worthless you've ever felt.
Yes, sir.
You know, so like it just gave me the confidence to come out of my shell.
Get ready for a sales revolution. Introducing Making Sales Simple, a complete online training course that unleashes the power of sales mastery, anytime, anywhere, on any device. Designed to transform anyone into a shed selling success, Making Sales Simple guides you through the entire sales cycle, from the moment a customer steps onto the lot all the way through the crucial art of closing the deal. But that's not all. Our course equips you to expertly handle follow-ups, how to advertise your lot on social media, and supercharge your sales like never before. Enroll your sales team in the game-changing Making Sales Simple training course and witness a remarkable boost in sales right on the lot. Do you have a large team of salespeople? Manage and monitor each one through the sleek admin panel. Track their progress, dive into quiz results, and ensure they're not just learning, but mastering their newfound sales skills in real-world scenarios. Join our happy customers and witness your shed lots transform into thriving hubs. Sign up your entire team today. Unlock big savings with the code SGSAVE, because your team's success deserves nothing less.
Some will tell you, don't put politics out there, you know, on your Facebook page or as part of your stuff. Don't put your religion out there. Like most people will almost immediately say, you know, don't talk politics or religion.
Right. And the sales game is what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Obviously, that's that's what they say.
And I'm like, you know, I don't know if I talk it, but I mean, like, I distinctly remember times, for instance, when there was a lady who showed up at her sales lot. And you know why she was there? She was there because her son passed. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, she was there because she needed a place to put his stuff.
And that's a deep conversation.
How much does that change your approach towards the sale? And I really backed off and was like, I'm happy to sell you whatever you want, anything or whatever, and did my best to help her. And what I come to find out is like she didn't really need something for sale that day. She needed
somebody to talk to.
Someone to talk to.
Yes, sir.
We talked for an hour, prayed together.
Wow. Amazing.
And just encouraged her.
Amazing.
And I was like, wait a minute, paradigm shift. Came into work today thinking I needed to sell a building. You know, God said, no, got a different mission for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're like, well, I didn't see that coming. So then it changes you. And I think what it did for me more than anything is it just made me sensitive to like why someone might show up. You can, you know, they can show up and you can be like, well, I guess I'll help you if I can, or be an order taker or whatever. And I'm like, man, there's no telling what's on people's mind whenever they're there, or why they're there to purchase a storage building. Maybe for that exact reason.
Yes, sir.
My husband passed away. Need a place to put his stuff. I don't want to get rid of it yet. You just got to be sensitive to where the conversation might go.
And I think you can do that from the very beginning of the sale, Shannon. I've not been in sales, but I think this is going on my 6th year, so I have nowhere near perfected it. I have so much to learn. But you set yourself up for the whole experience. That's kind of what Backyard and Beyond, our slogan, and it's not like trademarked or nothing. I'm not like, yo, you can't use this. We just love that because we want you to enjoy your experience here. When you show up on this lot, we want you to enjoy looking at the buildings. We want you to enjoy the friendly service that you're going to receive. And if you don't buy, I had this happen just a few days ago. A customer texted me, and I didn't have the product that they were looking for. I couldn't get it. I really didn't want to fool with it. So I told him, I said, well, this is an alternative product here. But if that doesn't fit your needs and we never do business together, that's completely okay. I appreciate the opportunity, the connection. And if you know anybody else looking, just send them my way. So it wasn't a lot of pressure, but you set yourself up from the very beginning of the sale. You greet them, and have you heard of Andy Elliott?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Guy is super alpha, right? Cool dude, you know, everybody can criticize, whatever, but another quote that I heard is you'll never receive criticism from somebody doing less than you.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Yeah.
You know, so there's a whole, you like him, don't like him, it's really not that, but the guy, when you show up on the lot, you shake their hand, you offer them something to drink, you want them to enjoy the entirety. And it may be that some grandma comes in and you have a coffee for her and she just is lonely because her husband passed away and she don't have any family in the region. You know, maybe that's the story for that day.
Yeah. No, that's it.
It goes beyond just the buildings, but we want them to enjoy the experience fully.
Well, unfortunately, 47 minutes goes by really fast.
Saw that.
I've said this 100 times on 100 podcasts, but it does go by fast. It's way less pressure than you think. So I encourage you guys to come on. I hope you guys haven't felt uneasy at all.
Been wonderful.
And it flies by.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm up against a time crunch, but I do want to do, a shout out. Appreciate you guys. Absolutely everything you're doing. Your discipline. We enjoy working with you guys. I hear nothing but positive feedback, constantly. We hope to be long-term partners and encourage you guys in all of your success and everything you're doing. But I always open up the show at the end for questions. If you guys have any questions, podcast, shed questions, whatever it is, if you don't have any, not a problem. But if you do have some, I'll be happy to answer them. I rattle on enough and probably have on this episode as much as any.
No, there's so much to talk about.
We do already talk for a long time whenever we all meet.
Yes.
But, I really do enjoy these conversations.
Yes, sir.
And it's the reason why I wanted to start a podcast was because it's the reason I founded a podcast is because we need to be able to have these conversations that happen around the world at Shed Expo, at any trade show, at barbecue events like we just attended at the Southern Indiana Barbecue.
Yes,
Some of the best podcasts ever that happen right there at a table that no one ever gets on a recording. And like those would actually, if I could only be a fly on the wall,
Be able to
and
record
like
those.
be able to record
Yes.
those and put that content out
Solving
to people.
problems and whatever else. Yeah.
You know, it betters your industry.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
we haven't said it in a long time. A rising tide lifts all boats, and it's the truth. We still
Yes,
want
sir.
the industry, you know, to think like that. 4 years into this, 250 podcast episodes in, nothing's changed. That's what we want.
Amazing.
A better industry. So, any questions that you guys would have?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
No,
we
it's
we
been a
thank
pleasure.
yeah we thank you so much for the opportunity. We've enjoyed the conversation, and super huge shout out to Shed Geek Rentals for being awesome to work with, and Shannon with the podcast. If you haven't done a podcast with him yet, if you haven't befriended him yet, please do. He is he's genuine and a pleasure to be around.
So kind, and gosh, you got me a little bit. You know, like
Hey, it's genuine, man.
Normally I'm pretty good, but you got me a little bit because it means a lot. It especially means a lot whenever you've been at a place in life that you're like, man, no one values me. No one values my opinion. No one so like to get the feedback. I New Hampshire, I got a messenger message today. A guy said, man, I just got in the industry. I've been in for a short time. I've been listening to your podcast and learning so much about the industry.
Wow.
Amazing.
And I want to put those things out there, you know, whenever I get them. But there's a little bit of like selfishness in me, and there's also a part that's like I don't want to seem like I'm bragging or something like that. But man, it so warms your heart for people to say those things because it's like you found your purpose, and it's like you know, like you're living in it, man. Like you're living in it, and you're like, hey, keep doing what you're doing because I'm like everybody else. Doubt myself, doubt my skills. Satan gets in there and begins to do work on the mind, and you gotta, you know, what you put in, what you let in, it's what comes out, and you got to be very careful. And I'm not above sin. That's why I needed Jesus. That's why I still need him. And I know that every day. So I appreciate you guys. This is a kind thing for you to say.
Yes, sir.
Love working with you guys too. It's been great.
Yeah,
We
we
appreciate it.
enjoy it. It's easy to work with somebody who's, you know, more than just somebody to work with. You know, when you get on a personal level, you know, and, you know, friends, you know.
Yeah.
you
Friendships.
can
That's
work
what
with
it's supposed to
anybody.
be, I think,
absolutely.
man. I don't know. If I'm missing the mark, then I will die on that hill. But that's the one
We agree. We agree. There's everybody can win.
Yeah.
Everybody can win. There's all kinds of differences of personalities, differences of opinions, and that's completely okay. There's the industry, across the industry, whether it be podcasting or selling or delivering, whatever, there's enough room for everyone. Everyone can win.
Came from nothing. I mean, I don't know if I've told my story or I don't tell it enough. I mean, like I talk about, you know, our growing up all the time. My dad was one of 16. Mom was one of 9. Neither one graduated high school.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like my dad's never made $10 an hour in his life.
Wow.
Like I've already, and this maybe sounds, you know, whatever. If it's a statement of arrogance, please forgive me, but I've probably made more money than both of my parents have made combined in their lifetime already. And not because I deserve that, but because they, you know, they did set me on the right trajectory of like what it meant to work hard. But it wasn't like a lot of talk about college or we didn't have a trust or, you know what I mean? And I'm not dogging those guys that did. Hey,
Absolutely.
Yeah, hey, I
That's
wish
what
I
you
was
want-
you. That's
that's what
great.
you want to
That's what
create
I'm
for
trying
your
to do for my
children.
children.
Exactly. Yes,
but
sir.
I was like, we just didn't come from that. It was school of the hard knocks, and you know, you had to work hard. And, you know, 6-8 years ago, I was making $413 a week trying to raise a family.
Yes, sir.
I'm in my 30s struggling, you know? So like to have this opportunity, not just personally, but also financially, spiritually, you know what I mean? Like all of those
Amazing.
things emotionally.
Oh, yeah.
It's a win, dude. It's
Amazing.
a win. So like, I appreciate you guys and anyone that partners with us. And I never want to displace that trust. So
Right.
Yes, sir. Same here. Same
appreciate
here.
you guys, man. Thanks for
Appreciate
being on
you.
the show.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you for having
All
us.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and it's coming up on Thanksgiving. And we just want to say thank you for listening to the show, and thank you to all the guests.